Welcome, dear friends. Here we are for another study of the Spiritist magazine. What a blessing to be with you every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. For those who are new or for those who need a little reminder, we will be releasing all of the articles of the magazine, including the newest issue, can be found at spiritistmagazine.org. You'll be able to find also the link to the Spiritist Magazine app as well as the Kardec Radio app if you go to kardecradio.com, where you can access all of the Spiritist Magazine files free of charge. And if you scroll down to issue 66, you can see here it's downloading into my app. And then over time, wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing, maybe we can spend some time scrolling through the Spiritist magazine and not on our social media apps and everything. So this issue has quite a few items related to the Spiritist group. We are Spiritists, and Spiritists gather in Spiritist groups all over the world, with a fair number of them now in the United States and beyond, spreading the good news in English. So today we have a message from the Spirit Bezerra de Menezes through the medium Yvonne Pereira. It's one of the messages of issue 66, which also feature many articles about the Spiritist Center. And we want to read about the Spiritist Center and talk about the Spiritist Center because we are Spiritists and that's where we gather to do our works. But it's also because yesterday we celebrate the discarnation of Allan Kardec, March 31st, 2020. Oh, excuse me, March 31st. Yesterday was 2025, but you'll be watching this on demand another time. That's okay. It's always good to reflect on the Spiritist Center. And today, April 1st, the Spiritist Society of Paris, or the Spirit Society of Parisian Studies, was formed by Allan Kardec. So today we dedicate this opportunity of study under the blessing of God and the guidance from the superior spirits to talk about the Spiritist centers. Where are they? Here you say they're not clubs. They're not clubs for our nationalities, for our people to gather, but they have very specific functions. And we'll learn a lot today from Bezerra de Menezes, Dr. Bezerra de Menezes, right, who continues to work in the spiritual realm, helping many of our Spiritist centers here in the US and abroad to fulfill our mission of spreading the Spiritist doctrine as codified by Allan Kardec. So here is the beautiful cover of this for this article. And as always, what do we do? What you're seeing here, if you're watching this, you've seen a screen, which is a sharing of my screen. That's how the PDF version of the magazine shows up. So if you go to spiritistmagazine.org, you can download the PDF version of the magazine to your computer, to your tablet, to your phone. As I've shown you, you can also download the app. You can read the app, the article on the app as well. And every week, we use the PDF version in order to study the articles together. So we read, we pause, we comment, we reflect, right? Every day you read, you learn something. So Dr. Bezerra de Menezes says, there are essential elements, even indispensable to a certain series of works coordinated by the workers of immortality, in the service of the third revelation, which is Spiritism. So there are things that are necessary, they are essential, indispensable to certain types of work They're coordinated by the workers of immortality. Those are mantras and guides that each and every Spiritist center has. So, question for us. When we go to a Spiritist group, when we're preparing the night before, the day off, do we even recognize the hundreds of spirits arrive before us and they are gathering the elements indispensable to their works? So if you have a Spiritist center in your area, you are very blessed because many places on the earth do not. And then we think about how blessed we are, how are we presenting ourselves? Am I being respectful in the way that I arrive early? I interact with the groups of people in there, and then also how I conduct myself during the meetings, how I teach my descendants the importance of Spiritism. I take them to the Spiritist Center and I teach them, like we're here to commune with the superior spirits. So what are these essential elements, you ask? Let's learn with Bezerra de Menezes. He says, the spiritual vibrations spread out in the environment of a Spiritist center through the care of its invisible guardians. So there is this vibrations emanating and spreading out throughout your Spiritist center. So what a blessing to be there. Invisible guardians, again, the workers, the mentors, the guides of a Spiritist center, because we are never alone. The useful fluids necessary for the varied and delicate works that must be carried out there in the Spiritist Center. From the healing of the sick to the conversion of suffering discarnate entities, and even the talks inspired by spiritual instructors. So these are the works that go on inside a Spiritist Center. Healing of the sick. This is therapeutic passes, fraternal counseling. Conversion of suffering discarnate entities, those who are attacking others and are attacking the center through mediumistic activity, can be converted to the side of the light. And even talks. So even if you're just talking, if you're reading a message, if you're praying, you are inspired by the spiritual instructors. So you have these useful fluids emanating in the Spiritist Center. Again, how do I present myself to the Spiritist Center in physical form? Am I respectful of where I am, of the culture? Am I presenting in a way that my presence is not going to be distracting to others? That's important. In a world where everybody wants to be main character, we have to be like, am I drawing attention to myself by the ways I am presenting in the works of Spiritism? But also, how can I contribute to this useful fluids that are present in the Spiritist Center that are a blessing to all of us? These vibrations, these specialized fluids, very subtle and sensitive, must remain immaculate. So he's telling us here indirectly that we potentially could bear this fluids not immaculate anymore. Bearing intact the virtues that are natural and indispensable to the development of work. Because in this way, if not, they will be mixed with impurities that are harmful to the same works, thus nullifying their profound possibilities. So let's visualize your Spiritist group, even if it's you doing a gospel at home at your house. What are the spiritual fluids there? Do you feel the presence of the Spirit mentors? Do you prepare? Do you pay respect to them by being on time? Right? There are several stories of both Chico Xavier and Divaldo Franco, our true north. No, true north is Jesus. But then Chico Xavier comes after, right? How they dress a certain way, they talk a certain way. What kind of things I have in my house? What kind of activities go on? Am I having good thoughts? Am I watching good content? Because that contributes to the spiritual environment where you are. So if you're coming to the Spiritist Center, that is coming with you, and you want to be as pure as you can. And we all know we are imperfect spirits at the moment, so we have impurities inside of ourselves that are being purified. But we want this specialized fluids is subtle and sensitive, so they are susceptible to our presence. Now he's going to say what the spirits recommend. And at the end, we'll reflect together on how we can better prepare to contribute versus just taking, right? We don't want to be the ones that go to the center just to take, to receive fluids, to receive passes, to receive talks, and then we just surf and go home, surf and go home. We want to be there as true workers that we are called to be in 2025 with the state of affairs of the world. We want to be net positive everywhere we go. That includes the Spiritist Center. Hence, why enlightened spirituality recommends to the adherents of the great doctrine, that's you and I, maximum respect in Spiritist meetings, where frivolity, recklessness, backbiting, and intrigue, commercialism and worldliness, noise, and less serious attitudes should never penetrate, since these are inferior manifestations of human character, and in consequence, whose magnetisms to such assemblies, and therefore for the association that such things allow, will attract groups of hostile and evil entities from the invisible, which will come to influence subsequent works to the point that they may adulterate them or make them impossible, since such environments will be incompatible with enlightened and beneficial spirituality. So every time I think about going to the Spiritist Center, I should refrain from, let me make it larger. Remember, all right. Maximum, I should not refrain. I should have maximum respect. Respect for those who came before me, respect for the work that already exists, respect for the time, respect for the people who are working hard to provide the space, physical and spiritual works that go in that space. We should refrain from frivolity and recklessness, just doing things without preparation, coming and go as I want, criticizing, backbiting, right? Smiling in front of people, then criticizing them behind their backs, intrigue, commercialism, and worldliness. Like we only think about how can I benefit? How can I make this? It's all about physical. Noise and less serious attitude. So we are talking about each other's attire, how beautiful we are, where we buy things. So we're making comments that are not aiding in the continuation of this subtle and delicate spiritual fluids that allow us to receive healing, help the incarnate entities, so on and so forth. Because otherwise, if we don't refrain from these things, we will be attracting groups of hostile and evil entities. And we don't want to do that. There is enough of them out in the world, in our homes, in our workplaces, everywhere in commercial areas you go, they're there just waiting for us to attune in their spiritual vibration. And we don't want to do that to the Spiritist Center. What else does it say? A Spiritist Center where the vibration of its incarnate or discarnate attendees radiate respect, fervent faith, high aspirations, where the spoken word never moves towards futility and depreciation, where instead of amused laughter, prayer is practiced, instead of the noise of undue acclamations and praise. Telepathic forces are emitted in search of happy inspirations. He's telling us what to do. Why are we going to the Spiritist Center? That's question number one. So if I find value in the Spiritist Center, I need to contribute to the Spiritist Center. The Spiritist Center is as much as a spiritual work as it's physical. There's a lot of work that goes on to maintaining a physical space that can house a Spiritist Center. So we contribute with what we can: financial, physical help, volunteering, doing the work. And I dedicated myself to come and add one more layer. We want to have faith, respect for the Spiritist mentors that are there. I want to watch for my spoken word so it's uplifting, and instead of undue praise and acclamations, because there's a lot of people who say, I'm going to that Spirit Center because that person is great. And then we shower them, which they may be, and we shower them with praise, and then we're not helping them with humbleness, right? Even where instead of ceremonies and worldly gatherings, a lot of people come to the Spiritist centers and expect a ceremony, a spectacle of music and worship. That's the wrong place for Spiritism, because we are worshiping. When we are here praising the work of God, thankful for the presence of the Spirit mentors, we are praising God of how good it is to have all these physical things that allow, for example, you and I to be together today. But we cannot transform it into worldly gatherings. There are places and times for the thing. The participant considers mental communion with their beloved, deceased, or spiritual guide. So we come in, we visualize the mentors. You don't have to be a medium to visualize their presence around you, to feel their presence around you, and then to try to commune with their beloved who are helping us from the beyond. Such a center, a faithful observer of the directives initially recommended by the organizers of the Spiritist philosophy. So are we in agreement with what was put forth by the Spirit of Truth and his workers through Allan Kardec, and applying it to our own Spiritist centers? So we go to the book, the Medium's book, the last 2 chapters, actually like 3 chapters, because the last chapter is a glossary, a dictionary. But there is a whole book about what are the elements necessary for Spiritist gatherings to move forward and improve and be cohesive in the harmony amongst individuals. And then we have also what? The directives of the Parisian Spiritist Society that Allan Kardec founded. So the rules are there. We have to go back and serious work. Much serious work for us, friends. Faithful observer of the directives initially recommended by the organizers of the Spiritist philosophy will be the holder of the confidence of enlightened spirituality. So when we are faithful to what we came here to do, and friends, we did not come to this world to travel, to have experiences. We came here to work. The earth is not a vacation resort. If we think we're doing better to our families to go do experiences, we are mistaken, because we're given the opportunity to know of these and to serve others, and we're choosing selfishness. Of course, we take care of our families, we take care of our profession, we take care of the physical things we need, but in our reincarnatory plan is service, is to love, actually. All reincarnatory plans is to love. Love comes through materialize it in service. How am I helping others? How am I helping my community? There are millions of spirits in the United States who discarnated. Many of them don't know that they're discarnated. And the Spiritist Center is the only place on the earth we have this direct interaction of the two worlds, where we have freedom of religion and freedom of speech to exercise our religious practices and beliefs, where we can actively help the discarnate friends who are suffering. And maybe one day we will be the ones who are discarnated and won't have a Spiritist center to go to be helped because we didn't work on starting and maintaining one. Have we thought about this? What's going to happen to us? What if I discarnate tonight? Where am I going to be? But if we are faithful and committed to the work, then we will be held in high regards with the spirituality, who says, oh, as this worker is faithful, I'll give him more work, which will elevate it, the Spiritist Center, to the modeling organizations of above, then carrying out within their precincts sublime undertakings, which will honor their leaders on both planes of life. So when we do the work to commit and be faithful, to be respectful, to refrain from the worldliness of it all, then the spirit mentors come and say, okay, I'm going to invest time on them and they're going to help us. Only these, therefore, will be registered in the beyond the grave as charitable houses or temples of love and fraternity, authorized for sensitive spiritualistic experiences. So these are the ones who will be like, oh, these places were of charity. But if we keep on just thinking we come here to get to know one another, get to praise one another, get to make business dealings, so on and so forth, of course we're going to help one another. Of course we're going to get to know, but that's not the main thing. That comes with time, interaction, that comes with us enjoying being here, enjoying this work of Spiritism. But if we don't do any of these selfless undertakings, then the others, those centers that deviate to extravagant or inappropriate norms or practices, friends, what are the practices now with Spiritist centers? Are they extravagant or inappropriate? What did Kardec do? Did he provide all of this mixed soup of word alphabet of everything? No, he was faithful. Study, service, mediumistic meetings, charity, right? But if we are focused on the worldly, these will be in the beyond considered mere groups where apprentices of Spiritism gather in leisure hours. So we only come once a week for an hour. We want to be served instead of served. We are commenting on each other's appearance. We are worried about how I'm going to find a job, a business, so on. Those. Then our Spiritist Center will be not just a club, just where people come together because they like each other. But there are other clubs that we could join. So we want to be regarded and registered beyond the grave in the spiritual, because remember, very important, every Spiritist group, its foundation and preparation starts where, friends? Centuries before we reincarnate. It's in the book Spiritual Dimensions of the Spiritist Center by Sueli Calder Schubert. Before you and I came to this planet, we had a reincarnatory plan that we hopefully participated on. Some spirits reincarnate with a reincarnatory plan, but because of the choices of previous lives, now they have to undergo things that are just a consequence of actions, right? Expiation. Many of us, when we become a world of trials and regeneration, will have tests, not expiations anymore. We're still undergoing trials and expiations. All we have to do is look around. We are under transition to regeneration, so we want to raise our vibrations through service, through love. And our reincarnatory plan, we came together. So we want to be registered beyond the grave and honor the hundreds of spirits who come to your Spiritist Center every day, every week, who serve, who are helping those who are discarnated and confused, who are here to help us as well. And then we want to be a temple of love and fraternity, authorized for sensitive experiences, more work. The more we work, more works will be given, more will be asked of us, more we have to give up. And we think that Earth is all about getting a bigger house, a bigger car, traveling, and have my passport full. We're fooled. We're being fooled by the worldliness of it all. So let's ensure, this is from the book Dramas da Obsessão by Bezerra de Menezes through Yvonne Pereira, who is the medium. So let's ensure that next time you go to your Spiritist Center, next time you are at your house doing the gospel at home, praying with your family, reading, including your children in the worship, you think about, how am I going to go to Spiritist Center? What are my thoughts? What are my feelings? What are my actions? Is it coherent? How can I participate? How can I contribute to the center more than, can I give more than I take? Dear friends, with our deepest gratitude to the presence of our spirit mentors who have inspired us to be here today, who join us in this journey of growth in this lifetime, praying and thanking Yvonne Pereira, Bezerra de Menezes for their continued work in the beyond, because I'm sure that they are working on the behalf of the cause. The mentors of the Spiritist magazine who allow us this beautiful work to be published, as well as Allan Kardec himself, Hippolyte Bezerra, Hippolyte Grivale, Allan Kardec, who is, I'm sure, in the spiritual realm helping us undergo this movement is spreading the third revelation and the spiritism everywhere we go. Dear friends, this is all for today. We have you going to visit spiritistmagazine.org, rereading this message and the many other messages about the Spiritist centers in many of the issues, especially issue 66, so that we can better reflect on our role in making this world a better place for all. May you stay well, may you stay safe, and God willing, I'll be back with you next week with another program. Take care. Bye-bye.